Do you guys know what viruses is? Viruses is a microscopic parasites generally much smaller than bacteria. They lack the capacity to thrive and reproduce outside of a host body. Once it infects a susceptible cell, it can direct the cell machinery to produce more virus. Most of the viruses have either RNA or DNA as their genetic materials. The entire infectious virus particle is called virions. It contains nucleic acid and outer shell of protein. The simplest viruses only have enough RNA or DNA to encode 4 proteins, while the most complex one can encode 100 to 200 proteins.
There are 3 different of bacteria and virus. First, bacteria is longer and visible in light microscope, while virus is smaller and visible in electron microscope. Second, bacteria can be either beneficial or harmful, while virus usually harmful through useful in genetic engineering. Lastly, bacteria infection can be prevented by antibiotic, while virus spread can be prevented by vaccine.
Here, I will tell the similarities between SARS-CoV and SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 that named by WHO. For your information, SARS-CoV stands for Causative Pathogen of Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus, and for SARS-CoV-2, it stands for Causative Pathogen of Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. The first point for the similarities of SARS-CoV and SARS-CoV-2 is the natural reservoir, for both are bats. Next, the early symptoms of SARS-CoV and SARS-CoV-2 are very similar, which are fever, cough, headache, shortness breath, and breathing difficulties.
The reason why SARS and COVID-19 are related to each other is because those viruses come from coronavirus group. Coronavirus is a large group of viruses that can infect many different animals and can cause common cold and mild to severe respiratory infection in humans. As a novel beta coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 shares 79% genome sequence identity with SARS-CoV. The phylogenetic analysis for the whole genome shows that SARS-CoV-2 is clustered with SARS-CoV and SARS-related coronavirus that found in bat, placing it in the subgenus Sabecovirus of the genus Beta coronavirus. All coronavirus are zoonotic. They start off in animal and can then, following by mutation, recombination and adaptation, be passed on human.
As one of my friends mentioned earlier, we can see that COVID-19 and SARS are similar in many ways. However, there are also many differences that we can compare between them. First, we can compare them by their transmission. For COVID-19, it appears that they transmit the virus more easily than SARS. For the possible explanation is that the amount of virus appears to be highest in the nose and the throats of people with COVID-19 shortly after the symptoms develop. While for the SARS, the viral load peaks much later in the illness. Therefore, it shows that the infection rate of COVID-19 is higher than SARS. Next, we can see the difference in their severity. It is estimated that 20% of people with COVID-19 needed to be hospitalized, and in smaller percentage of them needed the mechanical ventilator. It is contrast with the SARS that 20 to 30% of people with SARS required the mechanical ventilator. So, SARS is much more severe than COVID-19. In conclusion, we can conclude that SARS is much more severe, but it doesn't spread as widely as COVID-19. So for me, thank you.